Hi, so we're going to talk about prepositions this week. Prepositions are words that they show a connection between two or more words. And some prepositions talk about time and some talk about place. So there are examples on the page that we're going to do that talk about time, and there are examples that talk about place. And so that's a preposition, just describes a connection between words, and usually it shows a time or a place. So let's take a peek. Let's look over. I'll screen share my page with you so you can see what we're working on. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see my paper a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and write my name at the top. So a preposition shows a connection between words in a sentence. Some prepositions describe time, like we talked about, and some describe place. So here are some examples of time: before, after, during, over, in, on, above, below. There's a million place ones. Really, literally, there are so many place ones. Over, under, in, out, on, above, below, right? Like any one of the place words kind of has an opposite, like on, off, over, under, right? So there are quite a few place prepositions. So here's an example in a sentence. The runners raced on the track. So it's telling the place where they raced on the track. So over here in our thinking question bubble, it says, what word shows a connection between other words in the sentence? And that would be a preposition. So we're going to find the preposition in each underlined phrase. Write the preposition on the line. The best way to do this is to ask yourself, which one is time? Do I have a time word or a place word, right? So that's the easiest way to kind of remember this, is remembering it. Oops, lights out. Remembering it by time or by place, right? So let's do some of these together, and then we're going to do a few on your own. And I'm going to come over here and grab my YouTube Jeopardy music that I love. I love that there's 10 hours of Jeopardy music that you can get. 10 hours. We won't make you listen to 10 hours of it. Okay, so let's do a few together. We're going to write the preposition on the line once we find it. So they're giving us this whole little phrase here. And so I read Hercules the Mighty long into the night. So is into the night. Night is sharing a time, but we want to use a word that's a connector, right? So I would say we would probably actually use place, and into would be our preposition. Because we know that night isn't a preposition, it's a noun, it's a thing, right? So that's one of the things too. When you get into upper grades, you should already know what a noun is. A noun's a person, place, or thing. A verb shows action. So, and an adjective describes a noun. So you already kind of learned that in first, second, and third grade. And so by now in fourth grade, you know that if something isn't a noun, it isn't an adjective, it isn't a verb, then it's going to be one of the weird things that we've studied this year, if that makes sense. All right. Hercules had to fight with many beasts and monsters. So I'm looking at all of these words, and I'm looking for I know that beasts and monsters are nouns. I know that and is a conjunction. I know that many is an adjective. So I'm going to go with, right? That one isn't as good at showing time or place. That one's not so great at that. He had tremendous strength in his muscles. So this is definitely showing a place where in his muscles. So I'm going to write in. Also, it's up here in our example too. Sometimes if you look up in the example words, it helps. All right, we're going to do the first 5 and then we'll stop off and we'll give you some time to work and then we'll correct them. Okay. Number 4, after my readathon, that's definitely a time, right? After. Also, it's up here in the examples. So I'm going to write after, and I'm capitalizing it because it's capitalized here. Number 5, I could easily lift a house over my head. That's a place, right? Over my head, over. Also, it's in the example up here as well. Okay, so I'm going to let you work on 6 through 10 on your own, and I'm going to put on some Jeopardy music. And we're going to have to listen to a silly ad. Sorry. Big, long ad. Here we go. I'm going to eat a little bit of lunch while you're working. Okay, we're going to stop it. I was chewing along to the music. So let's double check and see how well you did. Remember, we're looking for time or place. My older brother stood under the house giving me orders. This is showing a place, right? Under. And then I'm looking at number 7. When I awoke, he was beside my bed telling me to get up. Beside tells me a place. I have noticed my dreams during the night are often silly. During is a time word, right? My brother does strength exercises before school. Before is a time word, right? Maybe that is why he was featured in My Crazy Dream. That's a place, right? In. Okay. So I hope that this helped you to recognize prepositions. Prepositions can tell you a time or a place. And basically what they are, they're connections between words in a sentence, right? So they're sometimes thought of as sort of making a sentence run together smoothly. A preposition can help to make that happen. All right. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. I will see you later.